If the judges actually have the progress of Nigeria at heart, they have no option than to declare Peter Obi the winner of this election, because Peter Obi has proven beyond doubt that he won this election, and we all know what is happening.
Former militant leader Asari Dokubo also stormed Abuja in protest. Let's take a quick look at that video.
So guys, where else could this kind of thing happen if not in Nigeria? Where else can it happen in the whole world? Asari Dokubo stormed Abuja to stop NLC protest.
4 Nigerian men on a mission to Europe in a bid to escape economic hardship, but found themselves in Brazil.
So guys, every day we keep hearing strange news happening in Nigeria. So guys, I'm going to allow you watch this video. Just take
judgment will be communicated to the parties. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, had arrived at the tribunal, accompanied by the party's vice presidential candidate, Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed, and award-winning novelist, Chimamanda Adichie. During the proceedings, Peter Obi misplaced his 2 phones.
No, it's good that she's also she came to
excuse me.
All right. Well, Peter Obi did not actually misplace his phone. Someone in his team took the phone, and it was a security DSS. It was nice, but that story was trending, and the fact that he misplaced his phone. But I was actually worried when I saw that story.
Too much Wawules.
Were you not worried?
Too much.
Too
much Wawules.
How would we not see? Well, I'm so glad.
I'm so glad.
But also what was cool was that we saw Chimamanda Adichie supporting Peter Obi as always. She's always there for him, and it's nice that she was there. I mean, that's another big news that made the stories yesterday. Dr. Bati, really quickly before we move on.
Well, I mean, the last time Chimamanda Adichie intervened publicly, there were persons who were trying to query her intervention. And I said, look, yes, she's a global icon writer, one of the leading figures today in contemporary world literature. And that she has a right as a citizen to make her own political choices. And that artists are not just persons of, the imaginative world, they are also citizens, they are members of communities. So she's, given further illustration to her support for the Labour Party, and especially for Mr. Peter Obi, whom she has described in glowing terms in other places. But earlier on, I tried to, give, a definition of the procedure of the adoption of written addresses that occurred at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal yesterday, and just made the point that this is the procedure under the rules from High Court up, courts of superior jurisdiction. They adopt written addresses even when those written addresses have been presented, as was the case on July 24, when the defendant in this case, namely APC, Tinubu, and INEC, had submitted their own addresses. So, but those adopted addresses do not constitute evidence. Their lordships will go and look at the evidence, and that's why they say they've deferred judgment, and they will communicate the date for the ruling. But that's not the end of the process.
Yes,
there's still a higher court, the apex court. So people should not jump to any conclusions. But it's good Mr. Peter Obi found his phones. We have all become so attached to our phones that if you miss your phone for 5 minutes, it will look like it is not even security breach. Some emotional thing. I wrote a piece once, many years ago now, in which I was saying, how did we live when there was no mobile phone?
We had postcards.
These days now, all of us are attached to the phones.
And Facebook and all of that.
But it's okay that you found his phone.
It's perfect. Well, all right, we saw, the protest in Abuja just now, and also Joe Ajero was about to address the crowd there. But, in the lead up to the nationwide mass protest by the Nigerian Labour Congress, which commenced today, workers and pensioners in Oyo State on Tuesday blocked the entrance of the State Secretariat in Ibadan, demanding palliatives, an upward review of pension allowances, and payment of salary deductions, among others. The workers had on Monday staged a similar protest, promising to continue to protest on Tuesday until the state governor, Seyi Makinde, addressed them. Well, former militant leader Asari Dokubo also stormed Abuja in protest. Let's take a quick look at that video. Is cracking up. What can we say? Turn by turn. Rufai, I mean, everyone has a right to protest. This is what needs to happen.
Why the hypocrisy of the police force scares me. Asari can do this. But when Labour said they want to go on protest, you start to tell them that you fear that people will infiltrate. Why didn't they infiltrate Asari's protest? Why is only Labour's own that the police used to shout that people might want to infiltrate? He has a right of protest. And he's chanted his songs. Turn by turn, no. Nobody should stop him. Just like nobody should stop anybody that wants to protest against the government. Simple.
Perfect. It must be peaceful, though.
And it must
All
be
the
peaceful.
protests must be peaceful. And the security forces have to ensure that it's peaceful. But let's take our final story by sharing the journey of 4 Nigerian men on a mission to Europe in a bid to escape economic hardship, but found themselves in Brazil. The 4 men survived on a ship's rudder after spending 14 days at sea from Lagos, Nigeria. Well, in an interview, 38-year-old Thank God Matthew Yeye revealed that his journey to Brazil began when a fisherman friend rolled him up to the stern of the Liberian-flagged ship docked in Lagos on the 27th of June and left him by the rudder. He found 3 men already there waiting for the ship to depart. On their 10th day at sea, the 4 men ran out of food and drink and survived another 4 days by drinking seawater before being rescued by Brazilian federal police in the southeastern port of Victoria. 2 out of the 4 men have since been returned to Nigeria upon their request, while Thank God and 35-year-old Roman Friday applied for asylum in Brazil. I mean, the desperation, Ayo, this is what this story really is about.
Yes, it's just the desperation. And in the interviews with the 2 men, including Roman says this is not his first time of trying to escape the hardship of Nigerians. It just shows that people are desperate to do anything.
Yes.
And we've highlighted this on the show a number of times because when this is at a time when things are said to be things are going to get worse. If they do get worse, what is the hope of the common Nigerian? So people are living legally, illegally, and if possible, in a way that would possibly result in their deaths.
Can you
We
imagine
need to fix this nation.
Dr. Bati.
Well, just a reflection of how dangerous, the Nigerian situation is becoming, and how worse it could get. And people will take any option to japa.
Yes.
This is an aspect of the
Absolutely.
japa phenomenon. They thought this ship was going to Europe.
Yes.
But they ended up to find themselves on the other side of the Atlantic in Brazil. 2 of them have been returned, but the remaining 2, Yeye and Roman Friday, they are asking for asylum in Brazil. I think they should grant them the asylum. I mean, in the past, people were taken through the slave route to Brazilian plantations, to plantations in Latin America. These ones donated them, risk their lives to get to that same plantation. I hope they will find a plantation there where they can fulfill their dreams. But it's unfortunate that people are leaving Nigeria by any means possible.
That's the story here.
What President Tinubu has to do is to restore hope.
Absolutely.
That will keep everyone here. So that I don't wake up one morning, I hear that Ojineka has jackpot.
Asari Dokubo stormed Abuja to stop NLC protest. So guys, so many things have really gone wrong in this country, honestly. Don't forget, before now, Asari Dokubo showcased his gun. I mean, his real gun. And nobody said anything, even the DSS. The president himself didn't say anything. And then we saw him displaying his armies that he has gathered, and he's training them on the behalf of Tinubu. It was shocking again to see him coming to Abuja with this number of people. Do you know what it means to transport these people to Abuja? Do you know the cost? Who is funding Asari Dokubo? Who is responsible for all the atrocities that he's committing? And nobody is saying anything. Nigerians don't keep quiet, because when it happens, it will affect everybody. Honestly, we are entering an era of agberocracy.